Hey everyone, this is Joanne coming to you live from New York. I'm also known as #UnicornBoss. So as you guys are jumping online tonight, go ahead and hit me up with some unicorn emojis since those are my jam. If you're grabbing me live, go ahead and leave me a number 1. And if you're catching me on the replay, go ahead and leave me a number 2. So honestly, tonight, you guys, I wasn't expecting to go live. For those of you that don't know, I'm actually traveling to Nashville tomorrow for a large business team event. So I actually wasn't planning to go live, but kind of as my day was wrapping up and as things were changing and as the energy was changing for my day, I don't know, for those of you that watched my video a few weeks ago, I talked about keeping promises to yourself. So I really started to feel the energy that despite that I am traveling and I still have my suitcases literally on my bed here, I'm in the middle of packing, I have things to do, but I want to keep my promise to myself and go live and share some of my favorite business tips and tricks with you guys. So I'm glad you're jumping online. Welcome. Hi, Courtney. Hi, Cheryl. So as you guys are jumping online, go ahead and say hi. Leave me a number 1 and let me know where you're coming in from. And if you're catching me on the replay, go ahead and leave me a number 2. By the way, if you're a brand new friend, don't forget to comment new below so that way I can circle back around and say hi to you. I love to say hi and connect to my brand new friends. So if you're brand new to me, welcome. My name is Joanne. I've been keto over 1 year now. I'm down 60 pounds. I'm also a boss babe. I quit my corporate job 1 year ago and I lead a very successful online business with a team. So usually once a week, I like to jump online and give you some of my favorite business tips and tricks. And don't worry, if you're not a business person, this is still really good for your own personal development. So I hope you'll stick with me because so many of us have issues with our money mindset and have issues with we want to make more money, but we're spinning our wheels and nothing is happening. So if that's something that you feel like you could really use some help from, make sure you stick to for the video tonight. I'm going to be talking about how to heal your money story and how to create an abundance mindset. So let me say hi to a few people real quick and then we will go ahead and get started. Thanks for sharing, Courtney. I so appreciate the shares. So real quick, if you guys love my page and you have a lot of fun, go ahead and give the video a quick share right now. I so appreciate your love and support. So hi, Rose, Sharon, Cheryl, Denise from Connecticut, welcome. Hi, Tara, Karma, Tiffany from Flint, Michigan, awesome. So hi, Gina, Christine, so happy to have you guys. So for those of you, if you're a boss babe like me or if you're an entrepreneur, go ahead and comment boss babe or entrepreneur below. I love connecting and meeting with other high vibe, business savvy men and women. It's so exciting to me. I'm actually getting ready to go to Nashville tomorrow for a team event for my business. This is really, really exciting. This is my second event so far for the year. And I'm going to talk a little bit. This the reason why I'm telling you about the trip is not to brag about it, but it goes along with the money mindset that I'm going to be talking about tonight. So recently I was listening to a podcast by Angie Lee. Do we have any Angie Lee fans here? If you do, you can go ahead and comment. And it actually blew my mind. So let me go back a little bit. So I did a podcast a little while ago, not a podcast, I'm sorry. I did a live video. Live videos are my things. I'm not onto podcasts yet, but maybe I'm manifesting the future here. That would be cool. But I talked and I shared with you guys pretty deeply about how in the beginning I really suffered from a poverty mindset when it came to my business. So for those of you that don't know, I actually had 4 failed businesses before my current one. So if that's something you can relate to, go ahead and give me some hearts below. You know, it's not easy sometimes, these online ventures and endeavors, and sometimes it takes a few tries. But for me, not only was I didn't have the right product, systems, tools, and a team, I was also really suffering from a poverty mindset and it was crippling to my business. So that's where I was coming from, and I've done so much work to heal that. But after listening to this podcast by Angie Lee, it really kind of blew open the doors to my mind and to my heart. And I really realized that I wasn't finished healing my money story and that there was more work to be done. So I'm going to give you my top 3 tips and tricks for how to heal your money mindset and how to attract more of that abundance. How many of you guys are looking for more abundance in your life? And it doesn't need just to be if you're a business person. You know, are you looking for abundance financially, abundance of love, abundance of peace, abundance of happiness? It can be all of the things. So if you want that, just comment and share with me. So I'm just going to catch up on some of these comments here. Yeah, hi everybody. Welcome. I'm seeing a bunch of you are boss babes. I'm so happy to meet some of you guys. I just made a bunch of brand new friends, so I'm really excited to get to know you a little bit better. So yeah, I realized that my money story really needs more healing. You know, I thought I was doing a good job with my poverty mindset and getting past that, but I really saw how much more I need to do. So I want you to take a few moments and think to yourself with me right now, what is your money story? What does money look like for you? Okay. And I know this is sometimes an awkward, conversation to talk about money, but it's really important because so many of us out there are not living the lives of our dreams and we want to have more money and more abundance. So to be able to do that, we need to talk about these money things. So how do you speak about money? You know, do you respect it? Do you disrespect it? How does it feel when you receive money? You know? Does it feel good? Does it feel awkward? Does it feel amazing? Does it make you feel sad because you're like, oh gosh, I just got this $50, but I need to put it in my gas tank because I wish I could go buy something for myself, you know, real life here. So, you know, how do you feel when you spend money? That's another great question. How does it feel when you spend money? Does it feel good? Do you feel guilty? And I really want to talk about how you can be on the same page as money and work with it rather than it working against you and you working against money. Because, you know, remember you guys, money is just energy. It's, you know, I mean, yeah, it's a physical, tangible thing, but money is just energy. You can get and you can give quite easily once you kind of tap into that frequency. So I'm going to take note of all of those things, you know, the questions I asked you about money, and continue to think about what maybe some of your money weaknesses are and what your money story is. And I'm going to give you my top 3 tips on how to create an abundance mindset and how to heal your money story. So leave me some money emojis if you're ready to learn some more. Don't forget to like and love, share the video, and don't forget to friend me and follow me as well. So my first tip is beliefs over budgeting. Okay, I know sometimes we are like so stuck in a budget, and I don't want people to go crazy with this because sometimes, you know, people hear something that you say and they're just like, oh, I'm just going to throw away my budget and spend like crazy. Like, no, that's not what I'm saying. But, you know, sometimes we get so honed in and focused on the budget and it can become almost crippling. Okay, so I want you to think beliefs over budgeting. You can't act broke and expect to be rich. So to all my boss babes and entrepreneurs, you know, you're trying to build maybe a 6-figure income. Are you going to build that? Are you going to become a millionaire? Are you going to be a top leader and recruiter on your team and on your business if you're acting broke all of the time? Okay, it's not. The energies are out of balance. So how many of you are guilty of this? I know I am. At least I was in the past, not so much anymore. But I was the type of person where I was always saying, I'm broke, I don't have, it's not enough. Where am I going to get? How will I do this? And if you're constantly saying, and I was the worst at telling myself I'm broke. I'm broke, I'm broke, I'm broke. And that would just like totally kill my mindset. And I did it for a really long time. So these deep-seated beliefs that you have about your money story really need to be changed. Hi, Brienne. Welcome. Hi, Denise. So a lot of this goes back to your childhood, right? So you need to begin reprogramming your thought patterns. It's so important. So, you know, a lot of times I talk about building up your self-worth and your self-affirmations and doing mirror work and standing in the mirror and telling yourself the hard things that you want to believe about yourself. You can do the same things with money too. And it's something that we often don't think about. So, you know, a lot of you, I'm going to challenge you to start thinking about, you know, go back to your childhood and think about that one moment that you first remember hearing somebody express either a concern or being stressed out that there was just not enough money of some sort. Some of you are going to be really little when you remember that. One of my biggest memories is I was kind of a little bit on the older side, and I kind of knew there was like, see, my family was split. Part of my family is very wealthy and part isn't. So I got to see the money stories on both sides. parents. But I was probably around 10 years old or in that range when I remember the first time that the money story started to make that hole in my heart, or started to give me the disbelief about money, was when my parents needed to run down. They were talking about they needed to run down to the bank and deposit some money, otherwise they weren't going to make payroll. And they were really frantic about it. It was like a really scary conversation. Like, I remember the stress, and I remember not even understanding, like, what's a payroll? Like, I had no idea, but I just remember being in the back of the car and like feeling the energy and realizing that there was something wrong and that there wasn't enough. And once I became aware, of course, more lack of money and abundance issues started presenting themselves to me. So, from an age, for most of us, whether it's from your parents, your siblings, your grandparents, maybe a close friend, maybe you had a friend that was like, maybe below income level and you were fine, but they weren't. And it started to give you that disparity of money and of life. You start to realize and have these wounds for money that really need healing. So, you can actually take yourself back. So, that set the stage for you. So, some of you guys may be able to have a conversation with somebody, like if you're close to your parents, you may want to sit down and have a conversation and talk about it and kind of like heal that money story. Allow yourself to understand that money is just energy and it's beautiful. I actually talked about this on my last live video, not realizing it was going to connect it all. But, I talked about how sometimes we have the tendency, society kind of teaches us that money is the root of all evil. But money is just energy, and money is not evil. It's what you do with the money, and that all depends on the heart of the person. So, if you start to change your mindset, like I started to have to reprogram my mind and understanding that money is beautiful. That used to feel really weird to me at first, to actually say that and think that. But now that I know that money is beautiful, and now that I know that I'm a good person and I have a good heart, that when I have financial freedom and I have money, it just gives me options for blessing people, for changing this world for the better. I think about all the charities I can give to and the difference I want to make in this world. And money is beautiful. It makes that all possible. So, start to focus on your belief over your budget and start building your relationship with money. So that's my very first tip and trick for you, is beliefs over budgeting. Find those old money hurts and wounds, and let's start healing the process and making a relationship with money. So my second tip for you is, I know you're sitting there right now and you're thinking, okay, I've got a crippling childhood where money was ruined for me, and I've got a lot of healing to do. So what do I do now? So you told me I have this issue and I need to heal it. So what's kind of the next step? So that's what I'm going to talk about here. How do you reprogram your mind, which is one of the hardest things to do. So I'm going to give you an easy tip, little trick to start practicing. So every single day, how many of you out there do mirror work? If you do, comment mirror here. I know that might not be common, but a lot of boss babes and entrepreneurs typically have a mirror practice where you stand up every day and you do your affirmations, you look yourself in the mirror, and you start building those positive beliefs about yourself. So in the same way, this is very similar. Thanks for sharing, Brianne. I so appreciate you. In the same way, I want you to start practicing every single day to feel the frequency of abundance. What does that feel like? Okay, do it for at least 5 minutes. And those first few rounds of 5 minutes are going to be really hard because that's like so alien to you. It's so foreign. You just don't know what that feels like. But the more you do it, the easier it gets, and you'll start to live, breathe, become, do all things abundance. And that's when it gets to be really exciting. And that's when it's really going to start changing your life. So just think about, for those of you that need help and you're like, gosh, I don't even know how do I get to that high level of vibrancy, of that frequency of abundance? How do I do it? How do I even get there? So start with thinking about, how would you feel if you didn't have to worry about money anymore? Okay, so I want you to take a few moments, think about what the perfect day for you would look like if money was a complete non-issue. So I want you to share with me in the comments, what would you feel if you woke up one day and there was just, as you know, the money in the bank was never ended. So you could have your most perfect day. You could go out and buy whatever you want, gift whatever you want, do whatever you wanted. How would you feel inside? Go ahead and share here in the comments. I have a few if you guys are feeling shy, but I want to give you a chance to participate. And I know sometimes there's a delay here. So, okay, so I see freedom. That's one of my #1 words too. Okay, what else, you guys? How would it feel to not have to worry about money? A clean house, because you'd hire somebody, right, Denise? No, I love it. What else? Let's get a few more going here, and then I'll move on. I won't torture you guys too long, but I love to see if you guys come up with things other than what I have on my list here. So think about it. Don't be afraid to dream big. We talk about a lot of hashtag dream big on my page. What would a perfect day for you? Relieved. Okay, love it. Not having to worry about money. What would it look like? What would it feel like? Awesome. I'm loving it. So I wrote down a few words. Okay, see, somebody would go shopping. Girl, I'd go shopping too. I would buy myself some things. I'd buy a lot of gifts for people because I'm a giver. What's your love language? If you guys know, if your affirmations, gift of giving, I forget what they all are, but I'm a giver. I love to give. So, okay, so I wrote down free is my #1. I'd feel happy. I'd feel open, excited, passionate, grateful, and giving. Like I could just go out and do all of the things. It would be so amazing, right? So when I'm telling you to sit down and take 5 minutes and raise the level of vibration and raise the frequency of your abundance, that's what you want to do. Think about how that would feel and just go ahead and embody those feelings, okay? And start with like a 5-minute practice every day. And eventually, like I said, these are going to be tools that you're going to have in your arsenal that you're just going to always be that, okay? So let's see here. I'm looking at my notes. Sorry. So, okay. So let's think about real quickly what the opposites are of your perfect day. So, you know, if you don't have money and it might be your current situation, you might be struggling right now. What are some of the opposite feelings of that perfect day? What would that look like? What would that feel like? Go ahead and share with me in the comments. Then I think I'm done like with all the comments, you guys. I like to get you guys involved though. I think it's fun. So, you know, if your bank account is negative or if you have a big bill coming up and you can't pay it, how does that feel? What kind of energy does that look like for you? Go ahead and share in the comments. I've got a few here if you guys are shy. Okay, draining, that's a good one. I actually didn't write that down, and that's actually very accurate because you're constantly draining that energy. Because why? You're constantly worrying all the time, right? That worry, that dread. So good. What other ones do you guys have? Give it like 30 more seconds, see if any more pop up. Goodness, I could comment like a ton of them. So migraines, okay, yeah. So sometimes when we're stressed out or especially worrying about budget and money issues, it can be really detrimental to your physical well-being. You know, sometimes people get heartburn, sometimes people get migraines, sometimes people get insomnia. They can't sleep because they're worrying so much. So Samantha said, I was just recently informed the women's shelter I work at is closing. I feel so depressed, sad, angry, concerned, tearful, and exhausted. Oh, sweet sister, I am so sorry. Sending you all of my love. I'll remember to send love and light to you and all of the women that probably need that location. So we'll keep you guys in our prayers. So yeah, you know, I wrote down some of those things too. Scared, stressed, hopeless, ungrateful. Sometimes when I feel like I just don't even have enough, it's tough for me to tap into my gratitude practice, which is really important. Sometimes I feel detached too. Sometimes I have the tendency to shut down if I just feel like things become overwhelming. So, you know, those are some opposites of what I would feel when I'm free. So I wanted to talk about the two so you could see the large contrast. So you're living in the second portion, probably, unless you're a rock star, and if you are, high fives. But most of us are living in that second bracket where we're feeling scared, stressed, hopeless, ungrateful, detached, you know, tearful, exhausted, depressed, angry, all of those things, we're living in that basic programming, versus if we can start lifting that level of frequency, even just in small 5-minute practices. Thanks so much for sharing, Stephanie. Love you. And start embodying that frequency of abundance, freedom, happiness, openness, excitedness, passionate, grateful, giving, all of those things. So do that every single day. I want you to start working on that for me, okay? Take 5 minutes, start practicing living that frequency of abundance, and eventually this will get so easy that you'll just start living and breathing abundance in all that you do, which is really, really exciting. And I also want you to start acting as if. So think about, thanks for sharing, Bravo. Start thinking about, especially if you have a business and if you're a boss babe or an entrepreneur like me, you know, I'm sure that there are leaders in your industry that you aspire to be like. So act as if you are already there living that lifestyle. You know, act as if you are that leader, that financially free person. Embody who you look like. What does that say? Sorry, I just can't even read my notes here. Embody her completely. That's what I want to say. Good. I'm seeing that you guys are excited about this. I am so excited that you're into it. So embody that person completely. What does she or he look like? Go ahead and be that person. Another great way to practice this is to come to terms with that feeling that you get when you look at your checking account. So up until very recently, even though my business has been growing and I've been a lot more financially stable, and I quit my corporate job and build in the life of my dreams, but I can remember a time not even that long ago where I would avoid logging in to look at my checking account. Can anyone else relate? If you can, go ahead and give me some hearts below. You know, I would just avoid it. Like, I didn't want to see the number. I would put off paying my bills because I just didn't want to know how much was in there and how much was missing and how much I was short. And it was a really stressful and scary time in my life. So when you're feeling those moments right there, when you're just like, oh God, I don't even want to log in and do it. Like, I don't want to see, I don't want to pay the bills. I'm seeing the hearts. Okay, I love you guys. I know what that feels like. That's the perfect moment to start building your abundance practice. So that's the moment where you can say to yourself, you know what, I'm going to come to terms with this money. I'm going to heal this feeling. I'm going to change my programming, and I'm going to tell myself that I am abundant. So those are some things that you can do, especially in that moment, to help raise your vibration and stop changing those moments to be when you think of money that it's always so negative, okay? So I'm so glad that you guys are loving all of the content. Thank you so much for participating and giving me all the hearts. So I'm going to give you my last tip now for how to heal your money story. So it really is simple, and hopefully you guys won't think this is a cop-out, but I've got a great story to go along with it. So don't be afraid to invest in yourself, especially if you have your own business. You can't be afraid of money, okay? So here's the thing. I've been to 6 training events so far with my company since October of last year. This is going to be my second one for this year, going to Nashville tomorrow. And, you know, honestly, I'm going to ask you guys, you know, do you think I had money just sitting there in my checking account to buy event tickets, plane rides, food, boarding, swag? I mean, there's always like hidden costs and things to go on these trips. And, you know, the answer is, you know, I'm working on my financial freedom. It's awesome that I've been able to do all of these things, but I didn't just have thousands of dollars sitting there to go on all these trips and things like that. Absolutely not, you know, but I understood, because I was taught by my mentors and my leaders, that if you want to grow your business, it really takes a little bit of investment, not only in yourself for personal growth, but also in the actual business itself. So in the very beginning, I think I told you guys this story below, but I know I have some new viewers watching. 1 year ago, and I forget what month it was. I think it was January of last year. I had been in my business for a few months and it wasn't doing so well. I started in October, so by January, I still wasn't moving very much. But I wanted to go to my first company event. I really, really wanted to go, and I just thought that I initially counted myself out, and I said, well, I just can't go to events. They're not for somebody like me. You know, like I just don't have $200 to $500 sitting around to buy a plane ticket. Like, how do people do these things? How do they go? How do they just buy plane tickets? And, you know, the event ticket was $400. I'm like, how do normal people do this? Like, I'm barely making ends meet, going paycheck to paycheck, can barely pay my bills. You know, how do people go to these events? How do they do it, you know? So my mentor said to me, well, break down whatever it is that you promote, whatever product that you have, break down how many of those things you need to sell in order to afford the cost of the event. So for me personally, my very first event, I needed 14 trial packs in order to afford my most of the cost to get the event ticket, the plane ticket, room and board, and maybe a little bit of food. So, you know, I broke down my goals. And once I saw it was like so within reach, the number was so low, I only needed to sell 14 things. I started realizing that it was possible, and I had to work really hard. I hustled my butt off, but it was totally possible. And I would have never saw it if I wasn't willing to push through the fear and understanding that, you know, there are risks and that there are always rewards. So, you know, invest in yourself. Don't be afraid. And so let me see here. I'm trying to find my spot here on my notes. You guys, I have so many. Look at all these notes. So many notes. So, okay. So guess what happens? So when you go to these events, the reason why it's so important is because it increases your value. So part of having a successful business is being able to deliver value for your followers and for your friends and for everyone that's watching you, right? So when your value increases, guess what? You can give more to your followers. And when you give more, you start becoming energy rich. So being abundant is just being energy rich, and it's the most spectacular feeling. And I can honestly tell you that becoming energy rich has absolutely changed my life. I'm a completely different person than I was a year ago, and it's all thanks to these events that I started going to and investing in myself and in my business. So, you know, it's life-changing, really. And, you know, there are haters. You know, I've got a few haters out there, and they say to me, you know, well, how many trips are you going to go on? You know, you just went on a trip, and you're going on a trip just 30 days later. Like, why would you do another one? Haven't you learned enough things? Isn't enough? You know, sometimes people tell me that. And, you know, my answer to them is, I'll keep going until the day I die. There is never a cap on how much you can learn. And the more that I learn, the more I can give. And the more that I can give, the more I can make a mark in this world. And the more I make a mark in this world, the more financially abundant I am. And it just keeps going full circle, right? Hi, Edna, welcome. So, you know, I'm not going to apologize for traveling and becoming financially abundant and changing lives and becoming energy rich by leaving my mark in this world. I'm just not going to apologize for it, you know, so the haters can hate. You know, I'm sorry that some people are so closed-minded and they don't want to push for more out of life, but that's not me. Okay. So for those of you that are out there and you're kind of like teetering on the edge and maybe you're selling yourself short, you know, I really want you to know that you can invest in yourself and you're so worth it. And one thing I can absolutely tell you, especially with investing in these events, is that I tripled my business just by going to my first 2 events. So, I mean, it was a struggle. I had to hustle. I had to make some tough decisions. It was scary, but I pushed through the fear, and it comes back. It comes back, and it's not always in the form of money. Sometimes it comes back in new clients. Sometimes it comes back in referrals. Sometimes it comes back in an opportunity to do a training. I mean, you just never know how you're going to get that back as you receive it. And that's the cool thing about abundance, is that you may start with dollars down, but there's many different buckets and possibilities that it can come back to you, which keeps it really fun and exciting, because you just don't know what you're going to get as you begin to make these big investments into yourself, you know? So I just want you guys to know that you are worth it and that you can, earn more financially and you can become more energy rich and then in turn provide more value for your followers by going to events and trainings and investing in yourself. So always look for those types of things when they present the opportunity to you because they're so worth taking. So that was pretty much everything that I had for my abundance mindset training tonight on how you can heal your money story. So remember, beliefs over budgeting. You want to practice that feeling, that frequency of abundance, and don't be afraid to invest in yourself. So thank you so much for the love. It means the world to me. Don't forget to friend me and follow me. And if you're curious about what I do and you want to learn a little bit more, go ahead and comment business below. And I would love to share my opportunity with you about how I'm able to work from home and travel and do all of these fun things and build financial freedom. So thank you guys. Make sure you stay tuned to my page. I'll be heading to Nashville tomorrow and you'll have a full week of fun, all kinds of free content and value that I'll provide to you guys on my page in the next up and coming week. So thank you. Have a great night and I'll be back to chat with you guys again soon. Take care.